Great to be here.
Today, we're digging into, well, a classic debate, isn't it?
City versus countryside. Yeah.
Exactly. Our source material for this deep dive is this really simple but quite rich conversation we found between two people, Jack and Emily.
Mm-hmm.
And our mission really is to sort of pull out the interesting bits, what makes each lifestyle appealing, or maybe not so appealing sometimes.
Yeah, and see what it reveals about their priorities.
Right. And it just shows how even, a pretty straightforward chat can have layers if you listen closely.
Absolutely. And this dive, I think, will really help you, our listener, understand those different viewpoints on where we choose to live.
Yeah, the why behind it.
Exactly.
Right.
The specific reasons people feel drawn to one place over another helps you connect with those underlying drives.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The main question in the conversation is super direct. Do you prefer living in the countryside or the city?
Simple enough.
And we get two clear perspectives. Jack, who's definitely pro-countryside, and Emily, who's living the city life.
Got it. Jack and Emily.
So Jack, he doesn't hesitate at all. Emily asks, and boom, he says he loves the countryside.
Okay.
And his reason, it's quiet and I can see the stars at night.
Ah, okay. That immediately hits on, well, a core appeal, doesn't it? The peace.
Totally.
That quiet, calm feeling. No noise, less stress. That's a huge draw. He literally says, the countryside is peaceful. I can relax there.
Yeah, he does.
It really makes you wonder, what are the actual tangible benefits of less noise and stress day to day? It's not just an abstract idea.
Good point. And Jack backs this up with his favorite things to do there. He lists them out. I go hiking, ride my bike, and take photos of nature.
Right. Activities directly linked to being outdoors.
And he hammers it home again.
Yeah.
Relaxing.
Yeah.
That seems key for him.
It's really interesting how those activities, hiking, biking, photography, they need that natural environment, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
It's such a clear contrast to what you typically think of as like city entertainment.
Yeah, definitely.
And thinking bigger picture, it paints a picture of a lifestyle built around engaging with the outdoors and maybe like quiet reflection, not the city rush.
Okay, so that's Jack. Let's pivot to Emily. She lives in the city, and she's upfront about it. She admits it's noisy.
Okay, acknowledges the downside straight away.
But here's the interesting bit. She says, but I like it, despite the noise.
Ah, okay, why?
Her reason, she likes the shops, cafes, and cinemas. Everything is close by. Convenience.
Right, the accessibility factor. That's huge. Shops, entertainment, everything within reach.
Exactly.
So this raises that classic question, doesn't it? How do those urban conveniences, stack up against the downsides, like noise, maybe traffic?
Yeah, it's a balance.
It's a trade-off, really. And Emily actually mentions that tension. She says she sometimes gets tired of the noise and traffic.
She does use that phrase, get tired of.
Yeah, which basically means, feeling bored or unhappy because something just happens too much, it wears you down.
Like constant traffic noise.
Exactly. And that feeling, that getting tired of the noise or the crowds, that's a pretty common thread in city living, right? The convenience is great, but it often comes packaged with these persistent challenges.
And that contrast is really sharp when you put it next to Jack's comment about the countryside.
What was that again?
He points out, in the countryside, we don't have many places like that, referring specifically to those shops and cafes Emily loves.
Ah, right. So the lack of those amenities is the flip side for him.
Precisely. So if we step back and look at their whole conversation, it really maps out these core differences pretty clearly.
Yeah, lifestyle, what's convenient, just the overall sensory feel of the place.
You've got the quiet, nature-focused life on one hand, and the bustling, maybe amenity-rich city life on the other.
And what's fascinating, I think, is how clearly both Jack and Emily explain their choices based on what they value.
Well, but there's most of them.
Exactly. For Jack, it's peace, it's nature, it's quiet. For Emily, it's access, things to do, convenience.
It really shows how our priorities shape where we feel comfortable living.
Absolutely. It connects to the bigger picture. Our individual values drive these major life choices.
Yeah.
And just to add a bit more color to Jack's world, the source material actually defines countryside for us.
Oh, yeah. What does it say?
It says it's the land outside of towns and cities. There are farms, fields, and small villages.
Okay. Pretty standard definition.
Right. But the example they give is nice. I live in the countryside, and there are many trees and animals. It just helps you visualize what Jack enjoys every day.
It does paint a picture. But, despite their really different preferences,
Yeah.
there's this moment where Emily shows some curiosity about Jack's life. She says, "That sounds nice. I think I'd like to visit the countryside one day."
Oh, that's interesting. So even though she likes the city buzz,
Yeah, she's intrigued.
that makes you think, doesn't it? What's going on when someone who seems pretty happy where they are expresses interest in the complete opposite?
Mm-hmm. What does it suggest?
Well, to me, it suggests maybe an openness, like recognizing that other ways of life have their own appeal, even if it's unfamiliar.
A willingness to see another perspective.
Yeah, exactly. And Jack's response is really positive, too. He encourages her, you should. It's a great place to relax and enjoy nature.
He's welcoming about it.
Totally. And Emily's reply, maybe I'll go this weekend, even if it's just a maybe. It shows this kind of mutual respect, They appreciate that both lifestyles have something to offer.
That's a nice touch to their conversation. So wrapping this up then, what's the takeaway for you, the listener? I think this deep dive into just a simple chat really shows that this city versus countryside thing, it's not just about picking a spot on a map.
No, it's deeper than that.
It's really about what you prioritize deep down. Is it that quiet serenity you get from nature? Or is it the energy, the access of city life?
And we saw how those little details really matter, right?
Like what?
Well, like Jack seeing the stars, or Emily liking the shops nearby, or just that feeling Jack described as relaxing. Those specifics, they paint the whole picture of why someone makes that choice.
Yeah, the concrete examples.
It really seems to boil down to finding your personal balance between, say, amenities and atmosphere. What mix feels right for your well-being?
So maybe a question for you to ponder is, what actually defines relaxing for you or convenient? Are they the same things Jack and Emily talked about or something different?
Good question.
Perhaps this whole discussion gets you thinking about, those overlooked details in your own surroundings. What parts of your environment really shape your daily experience?
Yeah, the things you take for granted, maybe.
Exactly. And maybe. What might you gain from checking out a totally different kind of environment? Even just for a visit, like Emily was considering. What could that spark?